Good afternoon, everyone. I was just looking because I'm out here waiting over here at this location at the bus stop because I'm going into the city. I'm going into the city, y'all. So it's going to be a lot of heavy traffic there. So I'm just going to sit here and wait. But anyway, like I wanted to just share with y'all this afternoon, okay, as I went on my morning rant. That stuff be getting to me. I told y'all I can't mess around with this stuff on YouTube. I mean, it's like you get a connection to certain like with this Carmelo thing. It's like I got attached to Carmelo. Like he reminds me of somebody like one of my little great nephews or whatever in my family, and that's why I take it the way I do. That baby, even though he's not a baby. And if I could tell you some stories through the Bible, if you really look at through the Bible, 17 in the Bible is when God called Timothy to his ministry. And it was letters to Paul in the book of Timothy. And I didn't realize Timothy was 17. And in the Bible, you got to understand when God got a calling for a young man to go into his manhood, his initiation, it's on God's time. It's not something that is on our time, but it's on God's times. And the way Kayla breaking down, that's Kamala's mother. And I hope that they will be able to give us like P.O. boxes or whatever where we can send, I don't trust and I don't like what gift send go did to the Mello family about that $625,000 that they probably paid for their retainer fee, their law fee. They probably took a whole lot of money from them. I don't know. I don't want to rush the judgment. I really don't want to rush the judgment because you really don't understand that even though sometimes you think things are against people, it could be for them. Sometimes you think when things are working against you, sometimes things are working out for your good. And sometimes God want to use your son. And Carmelo, the way he got people that's drawn to him about this, even the people that hate him, that don't even know him. And people like Jeff McClef. And I think Jeff McClef is jealous. That is to me, that's jealousy. That's because Carmelo's still here, like he should be. And Austin is gone. Like, I don't know. Maybe if he would have kept his hands to himself, he'd still be above and not beneath, right? But let me go there. I don't care what nobody said. Look at all the black young men that got killed, and nobody ain't, you know, said sorry or anything to the family or the killers, like that helped their kids go kill, like Kyle Rittenhouse mother did, took his ass all the way across state lines and killed 3 people. These people are some weird. They got a weird. Everybody got a different quality of an element to them. And it's not that I don't dislike white people. I don't hate white people because I'm not talking about all white people. I am talking about these. Like I gotta keep saying, because I know a lot of white people are, oh, racist. No. I know you might feel a certain kind of way because not all of you have taken part in the wickedness of. I know that's right. And thank you for coming in, original. Yeah, I mean, they meant to do that. You got to understand, Collins County is where Jeff had all his connections to. You know what I'm saying? They had that political. He had the help, the KKK help. Okay, that's how they was trying to take Carmelo to a unit that was under his. I think was McCliff. I think it was either his brother-in-law or his brother. It was somebody in his family. Of course, I think that the defense attorney was also had his hands tied, but he should have been honest instead of. But he was a Jew. One of those type of Jews, not us, but the other, you know. I'm gonna make the triple K's return her. Why you say that? Oh, this is Noah. Oh, please. Oh, Lord Jesus. Noah, you stalking me. But anyway. Oh, God. You stalking me, Noah. We all could see that. And some people, like I said to some black people, and I'm going to talk about black people right now. I'm going to leave the white people alone. Not all white people. Like I said, I love some white people out here. They are good people, you know, in this world. And, you know, they are just really helpful and genuinely helpful and kind because they was brought up in that kind of way of life. You got to live in the world with people, work on your character, learn how to be kind to others. That's one thing our parents worked with us is our character. These kids don't say yes ma'am, no ma'am. I remember when I used to have to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. I used to say that to my parents, not to the boss, but I would be yes ma'am, or to my, you know, it's a southern thing, y'all. It's something I just brought up in my household. It's how you raise. You can't group everybody into the same. And I know I do it, but it is wrong. And I'm correcting myself here with y'all. But you can't take everybody and put everybody in the same category. You can't group everybody in. Yes, we are all black, but we all had different experiences. And how many times we got to keep telling that to some ignorant folks when you get out there and speak on your platform? Call out the person's name. Talk about who they are and, and how they hurt you or whatever they did to you. You know, that's the way I feel, and I really feel, and I apologize in my ignorance of trying to group all white people the same because they all are not the same. And that's the same way we get frustrated with white people with because they every time they get mad at a black person, you know what I'm saying? They want to put us all in the same category. That goes with all different other, you know, nationalities or backgrounds or ethnicity or whatever. They do the same freaking thing. You can't put everybody in the same damn category. And we as humans, we got to stop doing that. But as I was saying about this whole thing with where was I? Because somebody put it in the chat because I'm looking for this bus to come and I don't want to be on here and talk it and the bus shows up. But as I was saying and everything, it's just that we like to put everybody in the group. We like the group thing. We like the stereotype and all that other stuff. I don't, you know, just by the way Jeff McClef, he was fighting to get it out. Okay, he kept coming when the family was at that conference, and you know certain things I pay attention to. He was wearing like this cast thing on his arm, and I'm like, wow, he came in there and trying to come around the family like they had them shades on, and he was looking. He just like walked right on in. Nobody tried to stop them. That's when I knew. I knew they was setting it up for him, and he was. I was setting it up for Carmelo from right way back from the time it started, and the way they harassed that family. So I can't feel bad for his pain. When you are out here saying the horrible things you saying, you get drunk, you get on the doggone lock up. Everybody had lost, tragic loss, some kind of way. The mother ain't doing all of that. Okay? She went with her L. I don't know what she's doing, but I don't see her doing the most like he's doing. And I think she should be doing the most. Don't you think so? Because that is her baby boy. You know, mother's got a certain kind of feeling, but I think mom was always closer to Austin. I mean, to the one that's living, Hunter. I think God loved Hunter and hated, and you know, just like Jacob and Esau. God loved Jacob but hated Esau. They were twins. So what happened? And just like the brothers, one was good, one was evil. Cain and Abel. And even though Hunter probably had some behavior issues, but I think was a little bit more under. He could self-regulate himself more. I don't think he was more of the hothead, and I don't think he was more of the bullyish type. But he just followed his brother. And sometimes when you really see certain people, sometimes when God sees everything, like I said, God is in the heavens, and that's why sometimes when I see a certain, you ask God, you don't question God. Especially when, like, my nephew, when my nephew got killed, yes, I was hurting, I was in pain. I wanted to see that young man go to jail. I wanted to see everybody get what was coming to them, because that was like my son, okay? When his life was taken by gun violence from a black guy. But I still wanted justice for them. And I wanted justice for their family. I wanted it all. I understand your pain, because everybody's been through that pain at some point. I can't say everybody, but other people have lived that pain too. I think he wanted attention. He's sitting there all alone by himself, and he's saying, "Will Austin come through the door?" Because I think him and Austin used to drink and drug it and do every goddamn thing, and talk they nigga talk together. Okay, and maybe Hunter was getting into it, but he was more concerned about his mother. And that's what I noticed. I noticed that Hunter seems to be more clingy to mom. You see how she was holding on to him? They were coming out there, and he was standing there at the courthouse. I think he was more of a mommy's baby, just like the twins, Jacob and Esau. One was loved by daddy, that was the fucked up one, that was Esau. And then Jacob was loved by the mom. So when you learn the stories in the Bible, you can relate to the characteristics of human beings out here in the world, and some of their ways, and some of the way they carry on, and some of the things they do it, like McClellan. I think you would have felt a whole lot better, and you won't be so much in pain if you just learn how to forgive and understand it was accidental. It was an accident to me. It was an accidental reckless endangerment, whatever you want to call it. Carmelo did not, and he poured his heart out. God knows that young man's heart. He don't owe you nothing. Neither do his parents. They know what their son did, and if he could avoid it, he would have done something differently. But they 17. You got to remember, 7 freaking 10. You don't know when God is going to call your child home. You don't know when God is going to call your child to his services. One went to the early grave, and the other one is being called on an assignment from God. That's the way I look at it from here, before I think of other things going on in my head, the injustice of the system. But like I said, I got to get past the racist, systemic. And I think God is just showing us things in America that we need to start repairing, restore. This is something new he want to bring to us in a new America. You know what I'm saying? We got to get rid of those old things in America. We got to get rid of, thinking it's all right that you can go out here and go on your rant, your racist rant, and insult people and make an excuse for it because you hurting, because you in pain, you lost your child. How many people you would know lost their children unexpectedly in a tragic death, but they don't go on social media, on a rant to harm other people. And to say the things he said about what he would want to do to Carmelo's mother and call CPS on her, destroy this woman's life, destroy. These people ain't bothering you. They child made a mistake. I mean, I wouldn't even say a mistake, it was an accident. But if your child would have kept his damn hands to himself, you would have still had your son, and y'all could have been celebrating Father's Day next week. But since he wanted to be a hothead and a bully, and I don't care, no adult should be giving a child, still a child, any kind of, like leadership. I wouldn't say leadership, but when you got children that attract me, and there's another child that's there that's joined in under the tent, speaking to his girlfriend's cousin or somebody. Now Carmelo can't see his girlfriend. Oh, he's so cute. But hopefully she'll stay in touch with him, write him, and everybody just keep writing him and keeping him spilled up his spirit. I got so many letters to write for brothers that's locked up and incarcerated. It's crazy. But anyway, if he would have kept his damn hands to himself, he would have been here. And everybody would have been home with their family. Everybody would have had their child. But your child chose to do the wrong thing, so God took his ass, okay? Carmelo didn't take it, so whatever problems you going through or whatever hurting and pain, that you going through and whatever burden you carry, you need to take it to the Lord like everybody else when they went through their pain and they suffering. Like my nephew when he went through his pain and his suffering, and how every day I got up crying, crying, crying. And well, they had to drag me out of the doggone funeral at the funeral. That's how I couldn't take it. I fell out at the casket. I know what pain is like, just like you said, you know what pain is like. But you don't get on a public platform and spur out all this racial stuff, because this stuff don't go away on the internet. It don't. Just another word salad. I'm talking about the left. I don't make no excuse for ignorance. God is no respectable person. Okay? No respectable person. When so many black lives were taken out innocently, maybe in a fight, maybe it was done like people like George Zimmerman, who stalked and followed Trayvon Martin and stalked him, and even when he was told to stand down, don't follow him, he still followed him because that was in his heart and that was in him to harm Trayvon, to do damage to Trayvon. This bus come on, it's getting kind of hot out here. You see what I'm saying? And now they trying to make what they would think or what they would do to turn it around and flip it on Carmelo. Like he came there to intentionally harm somebody. No, he came there to be a part of that track meet. Austin wasn't supposed to be there, and neither was Hunter. They were suspended. They came there looking for trouble. They came to bully somebody. You see, they failed this. They probably ain't got no friends. Probably not too many people care for them. But well, then again, they athletes. But that don't mean just because you play on the same team, y'all like each other. You know, I played sports too. I didn't like some people on the team, and I used to be getting mad about, but because I thought they were always trying to make themselves the MVP, and I thought I was the MVP, whatever. But I'm just saying, I think he was jealous of Carmelo. He was jealous of this young athlete. He saw this young man future going places. Carmelo was ready to start his other job. He just had started a job when that shit took place. Them motherfuckers came there for trouble. And I don't feel one bit sorry for fucking Jeff McClain. He just got to get over it. He better learn how to work with his heart. Okay? Search your heart. And see what's in it that shouldn't be. And what's in it is racism. And that's why you're hurting. Because if it wasn't about racism, you wouldn't be sitting there calling us all these kind of names and calling them out Carmelo. What did the fuck he do to you? That boy just got here in the world. You should show a better example to that young man's life. He ain't never been in no trouble before. This is what I'm saying. He ain't never been in no. This is first time even his family got shanked by some goddamn lawyer for some a case like as serious as that. They just threw it and let that boy's life go down to the system like that. Just all that money. That's why they sitting out there and they telling everybody what's going on. Because they didn't even get their money. They didn't wait till they freaking had that child. And I know those people are behind doing that shit too. That's how evil they are. They just wanted to find themselves a nigga. That's what they wanted to do. Somebody to take their fucking guilt out on, or the shit that they do. I told you, these people got a totally different element about them. That's why you got to be very careful about who you hate. You know, people you call your friends, and people you just allow in your space and all that other stuff. You know, you just got to be careful with that. But somebody's coming, so I'm going to have to change up this conversation. But you know what? We're going to get into this conversation later because I'm talking out here. And I'll hopefully have a conversation with you. But I wanted to just really, because it's just got so much in me. He had a 3-hour, y'all. 3 hours. And I think I watched just about that amount of it last night. I was like, this fucked up. I was getting so mad. Turn that shit off. 3 hours. He was on a rant. 3 hours. Who the hell does that? Because he wanted to block. Hey. No, you come on in. The thing is, he wanted to take the attention away from Carmelo's family and put it all on him. You see, he was sitting there all alone. His wife wasn't doing it. Ex-wife wasn't doing none of that. She just said, hey, he's gone. We moved on. She got her money. her go give fund me count and moved on. Her and Hampton was looking better than they was living before. Okay? They probably was living in a trailer. Now they probably living in a, because of Carmelo, they live in probably now in some mansion. And probably in a better area, in a better place, in a better car she driving in the whole goddamn nine. Because I don't think they had no money like that. Well, I don't think she did anyway. Because when I saw when they went to the house on the interview, that looked like a damn trailer to me. Now, I bet you they probably living after Carmelo did what he did, and they got that money, and only God knows what they got off the insurance that they probably got to bury his ass. You gonna learn that now. Hunter probably gonna keep them hands way deep in his pocket, cause he probably be joining his brother if he don't. But anyway, I love you guys. You take care. Peace.